I've done some few demo yesterday, and I told you more about myself and also what Oracle is all about, especially from HCM point of view. So just like I mentioned yesterday, I mean, our main focus will just be on HR and absence management. If we have time, we can touch base on payroll, but the main focus will be on HR and absence management. So yesterday I did a lot of demo. The demo which I did yesterday, I think the PDF, I will send it to the coordinator so she can send it to everybody because it's for everybody. I'm not hanging on to that. So I will send it to the coordinator so I can send it to you. And yesterday, I know we mentioned quite a lot of few things which we need to do, but the main real training we start during the internship. So what we did yesterday and today is not going to be the real training. It's just a kind of introduction. So I'm not going to go too much deep into everything. So not until next week when we start fully. So just like I mentioned yesterday, we used to have an old system. We call it EBS, which is Enterprise Business Suite. So which is EBS, the old system. Now the new system is called Oracle HCM Cloud or Fusion. So it doesn't matter how you call it. It could be Fusion, it could be Cloud. So, and like I said, the link for the cloud is much more easier because for the old system, you need a Java. So you cannot actually access it through your mobile phone or through your iPad or any other devices, or apart from PC. But when it comes to cloud, yeah, you can access it through your mobile phone. You can access it through any kind of devices. So which makes life much more easier because it's a cloud. So for example, I just got this link. I just added here, put my password, put my username, and it just logged me in straight on. And this kind of system is actually managed by the Oracle server, just by the Oracle server. So basically, this is just for us to be able to kind of demo to a lot of people. So, but like I said, this is similar to what I explained yesterday, where we have the PAAS, we have the IAAS, we have the SAAS. So most of the SAAS is what a lot of clients, where all the server and everything is actually managed by Oracle. So even including your data, it's actually managed by Oracle. So it depends on what the requirement is for your clients when you start working for them. So every client differs. So just for today, it's just going to be a demo. I'm not going to take too much time compared to yesterday. So I'm just going to take very, very less time today. So today is just for you to show you not necessarily to create a new employee, but we can create one employee, but just to show you how the system actually looks like. So I've actually logged in at the moment. So when I logged in, it actually takes me to this page. So when it takes me to this page, you can see, well, normally this is all it gives to you, depending on the role that is given to you. Because there's some role you only see me. There's some role you will see my team. There's some role you will not see these two, you only see my client's group. Why there's some roles? So it depends on the roles which is given to you. So basically we call most of this like a role. So role is based on what you are supposed to do. What will be your role for as an HR? What will be the role which you need to perform? Because there's some, when there's a particular project, everybody have to do different things within the projects. So the only people that will have access to everything will be the implementation team. They will have all the roles. Why some, let's say from some super users, some data analysts, some end users, every one of them have specific roles which they need to play. So those are the kind of, so basically all this would depend on whatever role which you're gonna play. So for example, this one, I've got every roles because let's say I'm an implementation team. So I've got every role. Anytime you see this and you see me means employee self-service. So if I don't need to go too much into it. So me means, for example, when an employee got hired, when cloud, they will need to give him or her an access to employee self-service. So it's called me. Me will mean all your personal details. I'm not even sure if this one is actually full at the moment. So your skills and qualifications, basically they would have collected all this information from you. They would have put it in Oracle. And when you click on most of this, you will see all your details. When you click on skills and qualifications, you will see based on the information you've given to the HR. If it goes on code, goes on performance. So all this will be, it could be seasonal. That could be goals and performance, could be every year. So you might not even see anything here at all. You might be completely blank. So when it comes to data, I don't even think this one has got a lot of information. Let me just quickly check. So this is, yeah. So normally, because this is a test environment, another thing which I need to quickly mention, this is a test environment. So don't expect too much from this. This is not related to a particular company. So if you see junks, don't worry, it's because everybody is using it. This is actually assigned to many people globally. So somebody in Malaysia, China, they're all using this at the same time. So if you see anything that is a junk, don't worry about it. It will be like that because it's just a kind of test environment. So just to let you know. So and also, apart from being a test environment, it's also a training environment to train people. So that's why we have this. So another thing, yeah. So basically, you can see me. You can see all this information. When it comes to people's personal data, I cannot see here, but it might be in gallery. It might be in dashboard. It might be so. Once, if you have time, you can just go through most of these and just play around with it. So this is just for me, and this is called employee self-service. So in cloud, they call it me. In EBS, they call it employee service. That means this is only employee that needs to enter the details. So for example, if I go here now, if I'm just being hired and I go here, maybe the skills and qualifications, which I go to the HR, they did not upload it. I can come here and do it myself because this is only for you. So the next one is my team. My team would be for a manager. So this is also not populated. Normally in a real life scenario, there will be a lot of things which managers can do, but this is very, very limited at the moment. So, but like I said, this is a test environment. I'm not expecting too much. So my team means manager self-service. So this is where a manager can see their employees. They can see the status of, not necessarily personal data about the employee, because any personal data will only be limited to the HR to see. So a manager, what you can just see is just a minor data about the employee, not necessarily send something confidential. So they can see anything that is non-confidential. They can see anything about absences for an employee. For example, if an employee book a leave and maybe a manager comes in the morning and he did not see Tunde, say, oh, where's Tunde? The first thing I need to check is to go to my team and check the absences. Oh, Tunde has gone on leave. So necessarily, you don't need to tell your manager you're going on leave anyway. So once you book it, so that's it. So, but basically, normally when you book a leave, the manager needs to approve it anyway. So, but there's some manager, they're not even available. So you can go and they will approve it later. So these are just kind of non-confidential information for managers to see. And also for them to approve leaves, to approve maybe performances or goals or all this kind of things. So that's what my team is all about. The next thing, so like I said, this is for employee. This is for manager. My client group, this is where HR gets in. So this is everything about HR. Can you see? There's so much for HR to do. So HR, I've got quite a lot. They even have show more, so which an HR employee, HR person can do. So there's so much they can do. If you not, can you see? So they have a lot to do. So this is got to, I mean, there's so much here. Now, some of them might be useful, while some of them might not be necessary. But majority of them, I can say, are very, very useful, especially when you work in an HR section. There's so much that you can actually work on this thing. So we're going to touch base on a few of them today. So you will see the next one, which is my property management, sales, services, benefit administration. All these first three, just ignore them. They don't even make sense. So when a role is assigned, all these property sales and services, they're not going to be there. So these are just kind of, this is for another section. So this is not for you, for HR. This is not HR related. Benefits could be HR related. Like I said, benefits yesterday. This could be related to bonuses or maybe compensation. So benefits is useful as well. And it could be managed by the HR. Normally, benefits is managed by the payroll administrator, but occasionally it can fall within the remit of an HR to do. So then benefits will be assigned to you. We have payroll, like I mentioned yesterday, we have payroll. This will be for the payroll administrator, because there's some companies where an HR person will also be doing payroll. Yeah, if that's the case, then they get all the roles. But there's some times where HR will only see, they will only see my clients. Remember, HR will not see my team. They will not see me. They will only see my client group because they are mainly for HR. If they are not working on payroll, they will not even see payroll at all. This payroll will only be limited to a payroll administrator. So everybody have different roles. So the next one is Workspace. Just ignore this one, ignore, now this other management, most of them are related to finance. So just ignore this. Product management, all these are not HR related. I mean, like I said, when you are in a company, when they want to assign a role, you will not even see all this. But this is a training environment, you see everything anyway. So that's why they did not take it out. So general accounting, these are for, I don't know, maybe financials. Tools, this is necessary for reporting purposes. Procurement, this is for finance. Configuration, you don't need this one as well, because when you're going to do configuration, what you need configuration, actually, do you have configuration? This is for configuration. Setup and maintenance. So you don't need this configuration here. And subcontracting, you don't need this one as well. So let me see if there's more. Oh, okay, there's just others. Yeah. So these are all you need for now. But like I said, some of them you don't need them. So just put into mind, when you get to an organization, you will not see everything. You will only see whatever you are supposed to do. So, but from implementation point of view, most of the time you see quite a lot. Even if it's implementation, you might not even see these property sales services and some other few things. But most of the time you get a lot of roles. So if I go to because we're working on HR, let me just go, I'm on HR at the moment. If you notice on HR, we have manage job offers, create job requisition, transfer performance documents, update performance tasks, reopen. So all these kind of things, you see them, but depending on what role you're supposed to do as an HR, you might not even see this. For example, in my own place of work at the moment, all these are not there. All these managed job offers, they just took it out because it's not part of what I'm supposed to do. It could be for somebody else, but it's not really for you anyway. So just ignore most of this. So, but like I said, this is a training environment. You see everything. So they're not taking anything out at all. So, but for HR, you don't need some of them. But if you need to, most of this job requisition, most of this is related to ORC, which is the new recruitment, we just came up. So instead of using maybe Talio, or instead of using maybe a third-party system, you can actually use this for job requisition. Because most of it, what we're doing for training, we're not really doing job requisition. So we can just ignore this for this training. But like I said, if you've got time, you can just go in, check how it looks like. But this will also be required if your company are going to be using ORC, if they're going to be using ORC, and if it's set up for you to use it. So then create job requisition, all this manage job offer, all this will be very, very useful for you. But for this training purpose, we don't need all this, so we can just ignore it. So if I go down a little bit, you can see hire a new employee. So this is where an HR person will come in, add a contingent worker, add a pending worker, add a non-worker and pending worker, also person. So when, for example, if there's a new employee, when they join, this is where you, for example, if they're going to join tomorrow or they're actually on site, you can actually hire the employee. So because they are employee. So now this is where this one says add a contingent. A contingent, like I explained yesterday, a contingent is somebody who's going to be in the company maybe only for 6 months, or A contingent could be there for the next 2 years, but they're contingent, they're not employee. So that means there's some benefits which would not be accrued to them. That means a contingent, they don't have annual leave, they don't have sick leave. So that means they don't have, I mean, you know what a contingent we have anyway. So that means they don't have occupational, they don't have all this maternity, paternity. They are just contingent, they're temporary staffs, but temporary could be there for a long time as well. So, and you pay them like kind of agency rate. So you know what I'm talking about. So that's what they mean by contingent. So they're only there temporarily. So temporarily could be a month, could be 6 months, could be 1 year. I've seen a contingent being in a company for 5 years, but they're still contingent. They're not employee. They don't treat them as employee. So they are part of headcounts, but they're not part of FTE, which is full-time equivalent. So, but most of the employee, they're always headcounts, and they're also FTE. Okay, so the next one, it says add pending worker. Pending worker could also be an employee. Pending worker is somebody that, okay, you interview somebody, they're going to join, but they're going to join in the next 1 month. So when they're going to join the next one, because you don't want to put their details like in a kind of sheet of paper, you want to put them on the system as a pending worker. So that means they're pending, they're going to start in the next 1 month or 2 months. There's some people, they're going to start in the next 3 months. So you put them on the system as a pending worker. So the moment they come to they come into the company, they start, then you now convert them from pending worker to an employee. So that's what they mean by add a pending worker. Add a non-worker. A non-worker could be, I mean, every company is using non-worker in different terms. A non-worker could be somebody like a kind of contractor who's just going to be there for the next maybe 1 week or maybe just few days. So they term them as non-worker. That's a terminology for some companies. There's some company, they term a non-worker as an agency who just came there to do just minor work for them. So normally you would say, oh, a non-worker would be a little bit similar to contingent. A contingent could stay longer. A non-worker, most of the time, they don't stay longer. So they're only there for 1 month. I mean, definitely they're going to be there for 1 month. A contingent could be definitely 1 month, but could go far beyond 1 month. But a contingent, 100% is going to be there for the next 1 week. 100% is going to be there for the next 1 month. Or 100% is going to be there for the next 6 months. So they term them as non-worker. But like I said, the terminology is differ. For example, in my own place of work at the moment, we don't use non-worker. Instead of using non-worker, we use contingent. Even if somebody's going to be there for the next 6 months or 2 months, they term them as a contingent. Everybody use whatever is suitable for them. So it depends on the requirements. Some of them might use the 2, or some of them might probably use 1. So just for you to understand the difference. There's also, like I said, a pending worker. This one says add pending worker. So if the pending worker, which, I mean, like I said, they're going to be there in the next 1 month. Now they joined, they just started today. So this is where you convert them. So pending worker, so you add pending worker, you convert them here. So this is where you convert them, say pending workers. So the person here, so this one says person. If I click here, you will see what I mean. So this is, you only use this only to search an employee. So I'm not sure, there might be some few here. So like I said, this is a test environment. So there's, let me just put A and see, I can see it gives me a lot of, so this is where you're just searching for an employee. So I just put A there. So let's presume I'm searching for this guy. I don't even know this guy anyway. So this is just a dummy. Most of these are dummy employees. So when I click, it takes me direct into this page. So this is where, okay, I just want to search for an employee just to get some more information. So just go into the system, but I will show you this system later. So let me just cancel this. So now back to this page. So we have explained all this on the left-hand side. So on this right-hand side, we have now, you can see this joining, onboarding. This onboarding is related to this create job offer. So I'm not going to touch base on onboarding. So this is where once somebody went through the job requisition, up to job offer, job interview. Now they're going to be employed. So you put an onboarding. I mean, some of you will know what onboarding is all about. So this we have this we have all the details and everything, which we include their laptops, the training they need to do. So this will entail a lot of things onboarding, depending on the company requirements. Everybody have different requirements, but I'm not going to touch base on this. So joining, I don't even know what joining is all about. So like I said, we have a lot of things on this system, which probably might not be useful for you. So just ignore joining, ignore onboarding at the moment, because we're not onboarding anybody. So this is new person. So new person is if I want to create a new employee. So this new person and hire a new employee is the same, is almost the same. So this and this are almost the same, though they have different pages, but they're almost. So you can hire an employee using this, or you can hire an employee using a new person. So the next one says absences. This is where you create a lot of absences for the company, depending on the requirements. So you can see a lot of, so you have absence plans. Absences has got to do with the company's vacation. It could be 20 days a year. It could be 25 days a year. It could be 30 days a year. So depending on the requirement. So this is where you add it. And once you create this plan, you need to create an absence plan. Absence type. Once you create an absence type will be, for example, if you want to take some time off. So in the system, you need to use an absence type. Absence type will be similar to like absence taking. So that means I want to take some time off. So what kind of time off do I want to do? So this will say absence type. So it could be the vacation type. It could be sick leave type. It could be maternity type. It could be paternity. It could be any kind of leave. It could be bereavement. So it says type. What kind of vacation or what kind of absence do you want to take? So that's what they mean by type. So, and once you create this type, you need to link it with the absence, because every type will need to be linked to an absence. Remember, this absence plans has got to do with, let's say, an entitlement for the company, 20 days, 25 days, or whatever it is for the whole year. So this type would need to be linked to that plan. So if we got, I mean, of course, we have to do this because we're doing absence management anyway. Absence agreements, just ignore this. We don't need all this category. Yeah, absence category. I will show you guys how this one works out at the moment. But the main thing, which is actually here, which is very common, is absence type, absence plan, and absence reasons. Absence reason is what's the purpose of, for example, if you want to take some time off, maybe on a kind of maternity, or maybe any kind of, remember we have absence type. There's always a reason. What's the reason? So you need to create some reason. And all these reasons will also be linked to the plans and also linked to the time. So I will show you guys how this works. For certification, most of the certification has got to do with, remember, if for sick leave, depending on the requirement of the company, if you're more than 7 days of sick, maybe they need the certificate. If they are more than, I don't know, 14 days, they need one kind of certificate. So this is where certification comes in. So this is mainly for sick leave most of the time. Or it could be for, I don't know, maybe bereavement. It could be for, at times for even for some, I don't know, maybe there's some, depending on the requirement, it could be for some unpaid leave. Because if you might be in some company and say, you know what, I want to take 2 months off unpaid. They want a kind of certificate from you because they need you, but you want to take unpaid off. So they want to say, what's the reason why you want to take 2 months unpaid off? So all those kind of things, we have a reason, and they might require a kind of certificate from you. So those kind of certificate can be set up here. So any more down here? Yeah, this is just, this is derived factor. Derived factor, can you see this is based on eligibility? So I will show you guys how eligibility works. For example, maternity. Maternity is only for female. Paternity is only for male. So that kind of eligibility needs to be set up here. Or else, if some people are not careful, they can give paternity to a female. So, but once there's eligibility, when you go into the system, you can never give a paternity to a female. Neither would you give maternity to a male. It will stop you saying, they are ineligible, something like that. And ineligibility also pertains to, remember I said employees, they're entitled or they're eligible for 21 days a year, or let's say 25 days a year. But somebody who's a contingent, somebody who's an agency, they're not eligible. So those kind of eligibility needs to be set up here. Or else somebody who's on somebody who's a contingent, who's only going to be here for 1 month or 6 months or 1 month, somebody might make a mistake and give them an annual leave entitlement. So, but once there's an eligibility, they will never be able to, you will never be able to assign it to them, because the eligibility will error out and say, oh no, you cannot, because this guy is not a permanent staff or is not an employee, he is a contingent. So that's where eligibility comes in. So, and we have something like a repeating time period. I will show you guys how this one works as well. But like I said, the main important thing is the eligibility is very important. This formula is very important because there's a lot of annual leave, which is based on fast formula. So, and also based on rates. So type is important, plan is important, certification is not important, but in some companies it is important, especially for sick leave, because some people might probably take advantage of sick leave by just getting sick all the time. But by the time they start requesting for certification, people kind of buckle up together. So we have reasons that is very crucial. Up here, we have these ones. These are not actually setups. This one is for, I will quickly go here. Schedule a monitor. But most of the things I'm showing you, these are not for a normal HR. These are for the implementation team, including everything that is here. So I will just, the main thing that is here, that is important here is the updates accrual, even the evaluate certification updates. Remember, I mentioned sick leave. This is very crucial. Update is very crucial, especially when you enroll employees, when you do a bulk enrollment. This is very important. Calculate accrual, this is very crucial. Withdraw, this is very crucial. Migrate, just ignore this one, we don't need this. So generate daily breakdown, so you can just ignore this. So there's so many of these which we will touch base when we're doing absences, but most of these are related to absences, so we can touch base on this. To be honest, I use this virtually every single day. So, okay, I will just go back to, this is just for absences. Okay, so I will just quickly go through this within a space of minutes. After absences, we have what is called person management. So for HR administrator or for HR data analyst, this is what you need most of the time. Person management, new person, and also all these ones. You're gonna need all these ones all the time. Joining, you don't need this. Onboarding, if only if you're doing recruitment. Absences, they might not even give you absences if you're doing HR, if you're only HR, because this is only for implementation team. This is more of a setup, so they might not give this to you at all. So if you're only HR, so it's only this and this person management. Compensation, yeah, they might give you compensation, because this compensation is got to do also, like I said, for bonuses, for all these yearly entitlements. Some companies, they give some kind of extra money to people on a yearly basis. So this is where compensation comes in. And also compensation could be more like an ICD, which is more like an incentive. So those actually falls here. So we have profile, ignore this one. We have goals, performance, career. We mentioned some of this yesterday. This is got to do with performance and talent management. So unfortunately, we're not going to touch base on most of this. These are mainly yearly activities. So you might not even have some of this at all if you're only on HR. But if you're doing implementation, this will be very crucial. If you're doing implementation, you will need most of this. Talent pools, for workforce structure, payroll, this is where payroll comes in. And the last one is called data exchange. Most of this is got to do with when you are doing a load. when you're doing a load, for example, when you're doing data migration. So you want to load 20,000 employees into the system. You need all this. I mean, 20,000 employees, nobody's going to do them one by one. It's going to take forever. But if you want to load, you can just do import and load. It takes only 1 or 2 seconds. It loads everything. So there's so many, we have something called view business objects. So let me actually click this. View business objects. So can you see, these are all, we call it HDL data loader. These are all the loads which you can actually do. For example, if I go to absences, just to make it, or let me just say worker. Yeah, this is worker. Anytime you see worker, that means this is for the assignment. We call it worker.dats. Let me go to absences. You'll see a lot of absences as well. So can you see there's so many absences? So these are the things which you can load. So there's a lot of reasons, you can load a lot of reasons. If you, I mean, the one I use most of the time, I use enrollment. So this is enrollment. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So I use reasons, I use enrollment. This one is the main one. This is where you load a lot of balances. For example, when you enroll people into a new plan, which you set up, you need to give them balances. So balances will be, if they're not new, I'm talking about data migration now. For example, you're moving from old system to a new system. So remember, everybody has got vacation leave in the old system. So, and in the vacation leave, maybe they're entitled to 21 days. And in the 21 days, when you're moving from your old system to the new system, people already have outstanding balances. So those outstanding balances needs to be pushed to Oracle. So you use this, that's why it says, if you see what is here, it says absence accrue balance component. So these are the balances which you need to add to whatever plan or whatever absences or vacation you enroll them in. So I will show you how to use all this. These are, to be honest, they're pretty very easy. So let me just quickly go back because I want to quickly do demo. So yeah, so there's so much you can actually, like I said, if you're gonna do a load, you use this for load, import and load data. Let me see if there's anything here because I haven't done any, and this is just a test environment anyway. So normally it shows you blank, there's nothing there. When you want to load, you click on load, you click on import file. So, and it says, where do you want to pick it up? You pick it up from your desktop. And when you pick it up from your desktop, you put it here. Normally it's always a .dat that you need to load. Once you do browse, you submit, and that it just loads everything within seconds. It doesn't matter how many thousands it is, it loads it within a space of seconds. At times, if we say, if there's going to be some errors, it can take like 1 or 2 minutes because there might be some errors. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. If you're not going to load 20,000 or 40,000, there might be 1 or 2 errors. So I mean, not everything is always perfect. So this is all about load. So we can talk, I mean, the main important one which we need as an HR is Hcm Data Loader. We also have Hcm Spreadsheet Data Loader. Most of the time, to be honest, I don't even use this, but this is also used. You can use this. We have Hcm Extracts. Most of these are just extracts. You are not loading anything on this one. And the last one is Payroll. Most of these are also extracts. So the one which we actually need to load, use for load is Data Loader, and which is Hcm Data Loader and Spreadsheet Data Loader. So, but the main one which we're going to focus on will just be Hcm Data Loader. But let me be honest with you, and I will be sincere, this is very crucial. There's no role that, even if it's not important for you, it's good for you to know because it adds to your profile. Because anywhere you go, they want to load something. They just want to load something. And they need a technical ability or somebody technical to load something for them. But if you know how to do this, just, oh, I know how to do it. To be honest, I do this every single time. I do thousands per week. I'm not a technical guy. This is mainly a bit of technical, but functional people are actually using it as well. But it's better for you to know how to do it from implementation point of view. I'm not talking of HR. If you're HR data, you don't need to know. I mean, HR analyst or somebody who's a data entry analyst, you don't need to know how to do this. But if you know how to do it, it's a bonus anyway. So So just for you to know, we call it data exchange. So then I'll just quickly go, because of our time, I'll just quickly go to the screen. So like I said, this is where on this person management, let me start with this one, person management. When it says person management, that means you can query, it says search. This is only for you to search. You're not creating an employee here. You're only searching an existing employee. You search by name, you search by employee number, or you search by their national ID. Remember, this is a test environment. I don't even have an employee set up yet. So this is just a test environment. But for example, if I want to know because there even is a test environment, there's still some few employees who are actually created. I can, for example, we're in United Kingdom, I'll just go by United Kingdom. If you want, you can put United States, you can put any country you want. So United Kingdom, and I'll just click on search. So it gives me, I don't know how many it's giving me, because even if I want to do it, I can do a report from here. So it gives me all this information. So all this information are people's data. So that means these are employees within this test environment. Remember, these are just dummy employees. None of them is real. So they just are kind of dummy ones. So these are dummies which are actually being set up on the system, maybe by Oracle or maybe by different set of people. You can see this test employee. You will know that many people globally have been using this. So you can see all this UK, Mr. UK test 3. Everybody has been using it. So this same thing here. So you can set up your own as well. So it doesn't make any difference. So these are just dummy employees. There's so many of them. For example, if you're looking for a particular employee, so for example, if I'm looking for this one, so if I just copy this, or let me go by number. Let me go, if I can just copy this number. So if I don't want to see everybody, I can just put a number here, copy number, and, oh, sorry. I think I press, just close. So I can just put the number here and do a search. So once I search, it gives me only Sarah Wood. So the same thing, if I don't remember the number, I just want to go by the employee name. So I can just remove this. And I can just put here. So let me do reset. Okay. So I can just put, let me just say Wood because it's actually there. Let me go out and come back in again. So I'm looking for Sarah Wood, because you can search by different names. It doesn't make any difference. So let me go back. So I can just say Wood, Sarah, then click on enter or search. Oh, it doesn't give me, because I think one of the reasons why it doesn't give it to me, because there might be many. So let me just click on, I'll just click on search. Or alternatively, I can just click on Wood. Say maybe Wood, and I put United Kingdom so that I can limit my search. United Kingdom. Just click on search. Oh, it's giving me, so it gave me only Terrace Wood. So if I say give me Sarah, oh, it doesn't give that to me. Okay, let's just go by only name. It looks to me that it doesn't want to give me go by the name. So if I go by search by this number, so it gives me Sarah Wood. Okay, so if you know the number, put the number. Normally when you put the name, it should always come with the name anyway. So this is Sarah Wood. So depending on how you want to search an employee. So like I said, I'm just in the search button at the moment. I can click on the link. You click on this link. Then once you click on this link, it takes you to the details for Sarah Wood. It goes by the employment. So that's the first thing it gives to you, employment. So if you don't want to go by the employment, you want, let's say, if you notice, this is just an employment page. It doesn't give you their names. It doesn't give you their NI number. It doesn't give you anything that is personal. So so on this employment, you go to this tax. This is called tax. You click on tax on the right-hand side. It goes by every information that is here. It says personal and employment. So this is employment. So I'm in employment for this guy at the moment. You just click on person. Just click on person. So it gives me all the data. I mean, I know this is a test environment, so there's not much information here anyway. So it gives me all this personal information about Sarah Wood. So this is just the name. If you notice the national identifier, there's nothing confident. There's nothing there anyway. So if you notice, there's nothing here. It gives me the employee address. It gives me the legislative information, the United Kingdom. It gives me, there's not even gender. Well, actually there's gender, female, single. It gives me the work number. Anything confidential here, just the address and the work number. There's nothing much confidential. There's not even NI. So that's just the information about this employee. So apart from here, you can go to the next tab, which is called contacts. Is there any contact for this employee? So there's nothing for this employee, no contacts. Is there any documentation? Go there. I'm pretty sure there's nothing here. So no documentation. But remember, when you are creating a new employee, if you have all this information, you can add it. So for example, if they have a next of kin or they have a spouse, you can, or children, you can actually put it here. So it allows you to add it. So I think it's still thinking of the document. So normally when it's showing that 0, that means it's thinking of something. So let's just wait for it before I go to disability and extra information. Okay, I think the system is very slow. Okay, let me go to disability and see if that one opens. Or is still thinking. Normally it doesn't take this long. Okay, so this does for the documents. So documents means, for example, if you are hired a new employee, you can probably just for security purpose or just for verification, you can collect the, just get a copy of the driving license. You can add the details here, issuing country and license number. The same thing with citizenship. If they're not British, you can add all this information, just the citizenship status. Or maybe this is visa or work permits. I mean, some of you who have been in HR before, or some of you who have been hired in a new company, most of this information there, whether you're born here or not, whether you're a UK citizen or not, they always want all this information. So these are very crucial. And once they do it, they can actually, add all these details. And some of them, they can actually get a copy of your documents, just a copy, and they can actually add it here as well. They can put it here. So we have disability. So let me click on, I hope it's not going to take time again. Okay, so there's no disability. Yeah, if there's any disability which is confidential, you can add it here. So this extra information. Now extra information, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, these are just standard extra information from Oracle. If you want to create a new one, you can see somebody has created something like new EIT page, sample EFA. So I can see that these are not actually standard. So a lot of people can actually create different ones. In the last class, I think we created maybe 1 or 2. So yeah, these are most of these are actually Oracle standard. Most of them will not be used, or some of them can be used, because if you notice, Poland term. So if you're implementing for Poland, this might be useful for you. England term plan, this might be useful for you or not. These are just extra information. You don't need to use them. You can actually create yours. So that's what it means. But you can use their own standard if it's going to be suitable for you. So that's what they call extra information. But when we go for training, the internship, I will explain this more. So this is it for this employee. So if you want to get more information about this, this is just for the person. This is about personal data. So if I go back to employment, like I explained yesterday, it's got to do with, okay, this is where the employee works. This is the department. This is the job he's going to be doing. This is the position. So this is where all this information comes in. Actually, if I do edit and I do correct, so I want it to show me more information, I can just say, okay. So most of the employment, like I explained yesterday, is got to do with people's where they're based in within the company. So can you see a lot of information now? So when you're creating a new employee, once you fill in all their personal data, you come here, the assignment number. This assignment number is automated. Even the employee number will be automated. And employee number and assignment number, they're almost the same. The only difference would be assignment number will come with a letter called E. So, but the employee, this is actually the employee number. So this is the employee number. But when it comes to assignment number, it always puts E in E. So just note that. And you don't need to do anything here. It's just automated. So here it says this employee who I'm creating is an employee. So that, I mean, if you notice, there's a lot of junks here. If I'm in junks, a lot of people have done, I mean, this is a test environment. Can you see? Most of this doesn't even make sense at all. So, but Oracle standard would be employee, and that's why this one has got employee. Let me see if I can see any, yeah, anything standard. I believe graduate employee is Oracle standard. Let me keep on going. All the most, yeah, let me see. Regular employee, no. Most of, can you see, there's a lot of junks. Most of them are not even required. So trainee employees, that's standard. This is Oracle standard. So you get, I mean, I think I saw graduates as well. So most of those are actually Oracle standard. An employee is Oracle standard. So you can create yours. I mean, in our last class, we actually created a new one anyway. So you can create yours depending on the company requirements. So you can actually create yours. So once you create a new employee, you come to this page, which is called employment. Then you start filling all this information. Are they going to be employee? Are they going to be contingent? If it's contingent, let me see if there's a contingent. Yeah, can you see? Contingent worker. This is Oracle standard. So are they contingent? Let me see if there's any agency. I don't think there's any agency. Yeah. There's no agency. So you can create one for an agency. So you can see, I mean, it allows you to do anything you want. So you can create as much as possible. But most of the time, there's some companies where they don't want you to use Oracle standard. They like to use their own. So they tell you, even though there's employee, they can say, if there's a multinational company, they can say UK, they can tell you to put a prefix, UK employee, US employee, maybe it's Germany, DE employee. If it's China, maybe CN employee, so that there'll be a kind of, when they're doing a report, it to differentiate which country that employee is actually based. It depends on requirements. So, I mean, don't worry. But most of the time, they always use, some of them use Oracle standard, while some of them would tell you to create a new one. So, but from HR point of view, if you're an HR analyst, the only thing you do is to pick up. You just pick up this, whatever is here. So you don't even know where it's coming from. You don't know how it's actually set up. You just pick up from anything on the, normally anything that is here, we call it list of values. List of values. So just please make sure you note that. And once you do this, let me actually add this one thing I forgot to tell you. When you're creating a new employee, there's something called legal employer. Legal employer would be what would be, where are they going to be within that big company, which is a kind of, remember, we have a hierarchy. Hierarchy, which the top hierarchy is called an enterprise. The next one is actually division. And after the division, we have legal entity. So this is legal entity. Legal entity is very, very crucial. For example, you can see this, United Airlines UK. There will be United Airlines US. There will be United Airlines different countries. I mean, depending on where they operate. So this will show you legal employer is very crucial. And every legal employer, you will always have a business unit. I think I explained business unit yesterday as well. So there is a legal employer, there's also a business unit. This and this needs to see each other. When we're doing a setup, the moment you click on legal employer, when you come to business unit, it just automatically comes. It's similar to assignment number because they're linked. If you don't link it, then you need to start looking for this. But most of the time, when you set up your legal employer, you link it to your business unit, or when you set up your business unit, you link it to your legal employer. When we do that, I mean, when next week I will show you how to do that. So the moment you pick up legal employer, when you come to employment, when you get to business unit, it's just automated. It just automatically comes, so that you don't need to pick it up from the list. When we check the list, I think there's so many there. I'm not sure if there's any. I think the reason why they want it to be automated, they don't want it to confuse you picking up the wrong thing, because if you pick up the wrong thing, which is not linked to a legal employer, everything you're going to be working on will be wrong. Everything will just go wrong. So that's why these two needs to see each other. That's why you can see that this is mandatory. And anytime you see anything blue, these are mandatory. That means you've got to put something there. So that means it's mandatory. So yeah, so if I keep on going, so that's for the business units. You can see, so this employee that I'm hiring, what position would they have? You can pick up anything in the list. You can pick up anything in the list, so you can, and when we're doing the training, I will show you how to, because there's something in position. When you pick up a position, it automatically populates job, automatically populate grade, automatically populate, grade ladder, automatically populate grade, even automatically populates department, so that you don't need to start looking for, oh, what job should I give him? What grade should I give him? What grade ladder or grade should I give him? This will just automatically come up. So it's similar to the legal entity. Once you pick up the legal entity, when you get to business unit, it's automated. The same thing, the moment you pick up position, everything here, just the link. So I'll show you guys how to do that next week. So this will be, you can see that this is United Airlines consultant, United. So this is kind of United Airlines because they're all linked together. If they're not linked, somebody can make a mistake. They can pick up a consultant, they come to job and pick up maybe United Airlines something which is not even related to this business unit, which are not linked at all. So, and it will create a lot of confusion. So they all need to be linked together. So if I keep on going, I think I've almost done with my time. So location, the same thing. The moment I pick up a position, all these are linked together, because once you set up a position, you can link your position to job, grade ladder, grade, department, and location. All this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they just auto-populate the moment you pick up consultant. It doesn't have to be consultant, it could be anything. Anything you set up for a position. It could be like a senior manager, it could be like a account manager, or maybe CEO. The moment you pick up CEO, everything just get auto-populated so that you don't make mistakes. So that's the reason why job position is very crucial. The next one says work. I mean, if you notice, all these are non-mandatory, because if you notice, it doesn't have the blue asterisk, just like this one and that one. Nothing is really mandatory. If I don't put anything, if it's completely blank, that's fine. It doesn't make any difference. But it's good to actually populate most of these. If I go to the next one, it says working from home. Well, I know this one says no. There's so many working from home nowadays. You just click on yes anyway. So click on yes. It says worker category. Is it white collar? There's so many information here. And I know white collar is actually standard. 2P is standard, which is Oracle standard. So depending on whatever is the requirement for your company, even civil servant, blue collar, these are actually Oracle standard. So, but the main one, which we always speak of, is always white collar anyway. But it's not mandatory. Even if you want, you can just ignore it. These are just from Oracle, just for reporting purposes. Assignment category, it says, are they full-time or are they part-time? There's so many information here. If anything doesn't make sense, don't worry. Can you see? You can see all this information. These are actually rubbish. So this is actually somebody that actually created this. So you see a lot of things which are not suitable. So I believe casual is Oracle standard. Fixed term contract is Oracle standard. Full-time regular is Oracle standard. Permanent is also Oracle standard. Temporary is Oracle standard, and I believe supply is Oracle standard. Let me see if there's a part-time. Normally there should be a part-time. Maybe somebody took it off. Yeah, there's no part-time here. So there's no part-time. Yeah. So most of the time, normally when you recruit somebody, you expect them to do full-time anyway. But occasionally there might be some instances where you recruit somebody, they're starting as a part-time. So if it's not here, then you need to talk to the implementation team. They create one for you. So you, as an HR data analyst, you will not be able to create it. You can only select, so they can create it from the back end. So we have regular. So regular would be, are they regular, which is like an employee. Temporary, are they like agency or contingent? So I'm not sure how many options. Yeah, we have regular and temporary. So if it's agency, you pick up temporary. If it's regular, like an employee, then you pick up. And even there's some contingents who are going to be there for the next one year. They could be regular. It doesn't matter. It depends on how you want to use the term in your company. And you have the full-time. I'll just quickly rush through this a little bit. So we have full-time. Are they full-time or part-time? I think they should be part-time. You can see that. Are they going to be working as a manager? No. So if you employ somebody and they're going to be a manager immediately, then you click on yes. If they're not going to be a manager, you just click on no. Most of these are actually Oracle standard. I cannot see anything which is actually set up by anybody. This is Oracle standard. So it says, are they hourly paid or salaried? If they're employee, they will be salaried. If they are temporary worker, they will be hourly. And if they are much more temporary, they'll be temporary hourly. So, but most of the, if you say consultants or maybe an agency, everyone will be on hourly because they are on rates. If it's a permanent staff, they will be on salaried. So just know the difference. And these are only the option that the Oracle gave. You can add more and more that you want. You can add whatever you want. It doesn't make any difference. The only thing you need to be mindful of is anything you put here would need to be used by the finance department, and also you need to be used by payroll. So you need to be careful the way you're setting up whatever is, because you might set up some things. It might be suitable for HR. It might not be suitable for payroll or for finance department. So that's why whatever you're setting up for this one, you need to pull them along just to make sure when they're running their reports, it will be suitable. It will not have any impact on payroll department and finance department. We have working hours. Are they going to be working 8 hours a day, or they're going to be, some could be, for example, in my place of work, people work 40 hours and they put a weekly. So it depends on how you want to control your reports. Most of these are actually for reporting purpose. So if it's 8 hours a day, then that's fine. If it's 7.5, you can just put, for example, in UK, 7.5 is very common. So 7.5, then on a daily basis, 7.5. Okay, so that's that one. So we have an FTE. So actually, I think because this is set up on FTE, normally FTE 1, so let me go back to 8. If I put 8, you can see that this FTE would turn to 1. Okay, you can see it's FTE 1. Normally use FTE is called full-time equivalent. This is very, very crucial for mainly absence purposes, for reporting purposes, and also for absence purposes. Because when you're setting up a plan for proration purposes, because for example, if somebody is working 40 full-time, they are entitled to, let's say, 20 hours a year. If somebody is working, let me just use this, I'm not sure if it's going to work. If somebody is working, let's say, 20 hours a week, 20 hours weekly, let me, yeah, oh, it says 2.5. So that's, oh yeah, sorry, this is what I'm looking for. So can you see, that guy was, or this employee was working 8 hours on a daily basis. That's 40 hours on a weekly basis. Now, the moment I put 20 hours, because some people, you might employ them, they might be working 20 hours. That's what they're doing. The FTE will be 0.5. So that means if a full-time is on 20 days a year as a leave, whoever is doing 20 hours on a weekly basis, they will be on 10 days a year. because it's going to prorate. And for fast formula to identify who's on proration, or sorry, who's doing less than 40 hours, this is where it got it. It's going to get it from FTE. Okay, so FTE would be looking at what is in the fast formula and say, oh, this guy is 0.5. Let's give him 10 days a year as an annual leave. If this is 1, that will be 20 hours a year. So just put this into consideration. But when we're doing absences, we're going to touch base on this is mainly for proration purposes and mainly for people who are working part-time. So, and also it could be for another need within the requirement of the company. So, but from most of my experiences for FTE, we use it a lot for absences purpose. Headcount is 1. Everybody's 1 anyway. Whether you're agency or contingent, headcount is you're an individual. So there's no 0 point anything for headcount. So headcount is only 1. So let me jump a little bit. So start time. Well, this is not really mandatory anyway, because if you put 8 to 4, some people can be 9 to 5, some people can be 10 to 6. So this is not really mandatory, but this is just for reporting purpose. So just ignore that. Seniority days calculation. I will explain this when we are doing absences, because apart from absences looking at adding, for example, if somebody is on, if somebody started today, which is today, they're entitled to 20 hours a year. Now, this an employee, even though they started in your company, but they might have an experience. They might be in many companies for the past 20 years. So if they've been in a lot of companies for the past 20 years, you have to use their seniority dates as a calculation, and not their, even if they start in your company today, you need to use seniority dates. But when we're doing absences, I will explain the seniority calculation to you. Workers engagement, I don't even know what's here. Let me see what's here. Okay, I think this might be, I'm not sure what option. Okay, so limited company. So, okay, I think this has got to do with if somebody is working on as a contingent, are they limited company? Are they self-employed? So, I mean, in my current company at the moment, which should be out actually, but if it's in your company, most of this will be standard. So you can pick up, for example, I work as a contractor. If this is in my company and they have my name on the system, they will just put either limited company or just self-employed. It's just for reporting purpose. There's nothing else to it anyway. So standard working hours override. So this is working hours. This is 20 hours. If you want to override this, you can put 40 here. So you just override whatever is there. So let me quickly go to the next page. So we have assignment status. This is for employees. So that means most of these are standard. I can see that. So this is standard, active, payroll, and eligible. This is for a majority of the employees. Active contingent assignment. This is for a contingent worker. So that means they're not on payroll. Let me see whatever is there, which I know is most of this. Yeah, if somebody is also maternity, this is pay, or no, this is just maternity. This is maternity with no pay, because there's some maternity, you don't pay them maybe after 6 months. That's maternity no pay. This is maternity payroll eligibility. That means they get payments from the moment they are on maternity for the next 6 months, they are on payroll eligible. So let me see whatever is here, which is useful for you guys. Secondment, there's some people who are on secondment. There's some people who are on suspension. Most of these are standard. I can see that they're standard. So most of these temporal restriction, this is standard as well. Most of these are standard Oracle, including this one, suspended. All these 3 suspended, they are actually, or somebody can be suspended, but you're still paying them. Somebody can be suspended, but you're not paying them. So somebody can be suspended and they are unpaid. So this and this are almost the same. So these are just some of the options which you can pick up. So I'll just quickly jump. Most of these, we don't need them for now, but when we're creating a new employee, I will touch base on some of them. People group, this is very crucial, but I will touch base on that later. And also country, this is also very crucial. I think we're almost there. Okay, the next one is probation. So if somebody's on probation for 2-3 months, so when, I mean, most of us have been on permanent job before, they put us on probation of 6 months or 2 months or 3 months. So this is very crucial. It's also for reporting purpose, and also this will be they can create an alert on this, because when you create an employee, you need to have an alert say, oh, the probation is almost near, so that the manager can actually they will decide on whatever they want to do. So this is very crucial for reporting purpose, because I've seen this many times. The moment you do this, it triggers an alert or maybe a report, maybe 1 or 2 weeks before the due date. The same thing with notice period as well. For notice period, there's some people when you recruit them, they cannot leave the company until after 3 months, or after 2 weeks, or after 3 weeks, or after 1 month. So this is notice period, so which some of you are familiar with. Let me see whatever is here which is useful. Some of these are not useful at the moment, so let me quickly go to the next page. Sorry, let me go to, so this is just employment actually. So let me go here. The next thing that are very crucial here would be change salary. Okay, let me go to absence record. Because when, as an HR data analyst, these are the information which you need to enter for a new hire. And that will also include their absences as well. For this employee, if you notice, these are the plans which have been set up for that company. This is annual leave. If I don't know what all this is all about, so you can remember, this is just a test environment. So let me just pick up on only one, which is very useful, annual leave. So this annual leave is based on hours. Some of them could be based on days. So this is 200 hours. 200 hours could be maybe 20 hours anyway. It could be 20 hours a day. Sorry, 20 hours days. So 20 days in a whole year, because this is based on 200 hours. So this is how they actually set this up. For example, in my company, we use hours as well. We don't use days. But days is very, very common in UK. So they prefer 20 days a year, or 21 days or 25 days a year. So if it's days, then this balance here will be 20 days or 25 days. So that's the way it works. So this one is set up based on hours, which is, if I want to calculate days, that could be probably 20 days a year. So if you notice, this has already been set up. For example, if somebody, let me see this guy, if you can click on this link. Actually, before you click on this link, we have enrollment and adjustment. If you want to add a new plan, you can add a new plan here. For example, if I want to add a new plan, I can just click on add enrollment. Let me see if there's any plan which has not been assigned. You click on select plan. So there's nothing there. So that means every plan that's been set up has already been assigned to this guy. So that's why this is completely blank. So that's why there's nothing to choose. So yeah, if for example, let me see if he's going to allow me. At times it does. For example, this is just a test environment. If I get rid of this, let me get rid of this. If he allows me to do it, so if I do delete, okay, it allows me. So this is floater plan. So I just got rid of floater plan. Can you see? Floater plan is not there now. It's gone. If I want to add it, I go here, add. Then if I click here, oh, it's not coming through. So maybe it's not really, because this is a test environment anyway, so it doesn't surprise me. So normally when you remove it, you can actually add it back. Oh my God, this guy has got a lot. There's so many. I can see there's this, oh my, there's so many plans. So they actually added quite a lot for this guy. So this looks to me that it's almost 10 or a little bit over 10. But like I said, if you want to add a new plan, you go there, go to add enrollment. So once you click this, it gives you whatever plan. For example, if this guy hasn't got anything at all, if you're creating a new hire, they wouldn't have anything at all. So you just go here and you add it, you enroll them into the new plan. Now that's one way. The second way will be if all these plans are auto-enrolled. If all these plans are auto-enrolled, that means if this is set up to auto. So the moment you create so you hire an employee, once you complete the employment details, which was what I showed you before, the moment you click on submit, automatically it just populates these plans. You don't even need to you don't need to manually enroll them. It just automatically do that. Maybe that's the reason why I couldn't do this, because it's been set up as auto enrollment. So if it's auto, for example, in my place of work at the moment, we do auto enrollment, we don't do manual. Now there's some plans which we set up for it to manually enroll. So that means HR data analyst, we go in and manually enroll them into the plan. So manually enrollment means just make sure you add them similar to what you can see. But if it's auto enrollment, the moment you click submit, it just automatically, when you come here, it automatically just enroll them into a new plan. So that's another way to do it. Now for this employee at the moment, let's say this is actually HR can do this. Can you see this guy's got 200 hours here? You can also do so this is 200 hours. If I go here, so you can see accrual. So this guy actually accrued from, I think this is a US one, from the 1st of April. 1st of April, last year, this is actually last year, 1st of April last year, he's got 200 hours. If I want to do an adjustment, I can just quickly show you how that works, provided this is going to work. So if I want to do an adjustment, you can see that there's 200 hours here. So if I just want to say, normally it's always give you this option, clerical error or compensatory, I will just say compensatory. Adjustment, I will just want to add 2 hours. So it says from what dates? Calculation, this is from last year. Okay, so let me say from 200 hours up to, let's say 27th of December, 2020, because I can see this balance calculation. Oh no, it doesn't like my dates format. Okay, let me put 12/27/20. So I think I think he accepted the mandate format. So let me do. Okay, yeah, I think it does it. So can you see this is 200 hours before, so about 2 hours is there already now. So you can see that. So this is what they call balance adjustment. So you can either take away or you can add. So if you want to, I've only done for, sorry, if I go back here, I've only done 202. So if I want to take away, I can just go back again, do an adjustment. So what's the reason? Maybe a clerical error. I can just probably do -20. And what dates? I can use the same date again. So let me go to 12/27/20. So submit. So can you see that's 182? So that's how you do a balance adjustment for your employee, because there's a lot of time where employee will say, oh, my balance is incorrect. I can see 200 hours. It's supposed to be 220. So once you make your inquiry or your review, then you can come here and just make an adjustment. So that's the way this works for balances. So yeah, there's so many. These are just kind of qualification entitlements. So there's nothing here anymore. So because of our time, I will try to round up very soon. I was actually meant to create an employee, but even my explanation, I've not even done half of this explanation. Can you see? There's so many of them which are here. So, but like I said, the main important thing which you need to note is create an employee. Once you create an employee, you add the employment. This is where they're going to be working and all this kind of information, where their jobs, their position, their business units. This is very crucial. Normally we call it employment or assignment. Once you do this, then you go to absence record. There's no one that you want to employ who's an employee that would not want a sick leave, that would not want a vacation or an holiday. So this is very, very crucial. So once you do this, these are the 3 main things which is very important. The next one which is important will be, I will just say payroll relationship, which we can, let me just quickly check what is there for this employee. It might be blank or not. So payroll, of course, is very crucial because you need to pay them. So there's no, I don't think there's any payroll for this employee. Yeah, there's no payroll. So there's United, yeah, there's nothing there. There's nothing for this employee. Okay. Oh, actually, there's something here. No, this is just details. Let me see. There's any payroll. There's no payroll. So payroll is not added. So normally you need to, I mean, every employee needs to be added to a payroll, which is what I explained yesterday. So they need to have a payroll, which will be added to them. And this will actually make them to have, for them to be paid. So this is very crucial. So, but like I said, we can touch base on this next week when we're doing the internship. So I will just round up now. So before I round up, yesterday I promised that I will give everybody the link to be able to check what you need to check in terms of how the system works. Now, I don't really expect you to know how to create a new employee or how to, a new employee, go to employment, but you can just play around with it. I mean, and if I've got the time, I can give you a guide how to create a new employee, because I've got a guide which you can just use just to play around with it. So unfortunately, the link, I couldn't get it today. The guy will send me the link tomorrow. Once I get it, I'll give it to the coordinator and she will send it to you. But like I said, this link is not forever. It's only for 1 week. Sorry, actually, it's only for a few days. It might only be on for maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe up to Saturday or Sunday, then it completely, because the system get refreshed every weekend. So whatever you put there will get wiped out. So just to let you know. So, but if once I get the link tomorrow, I will send it to the coordinator. She will send it to you, and I will send a guide, just a mini guide, how to create a new employee, and so that you guys can play around with it, and that's it. Then we'll all see during the workshop or during the internship next week. Any question from anybody?
No question. I think you've done justice to the topic.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, if there's no question, then I will hand over to the prep major.